Okay, welcome to your regular Thursday night Streamvening. I am here today, as always. Welcome to always as myself. This would be Cynthia for those of you who have been wondering how to pronounce that word for ages. Also known as Sean. Here joining me on the regular are Mr. Nins and Madam Claire. And joining us as a special guest for this evening is a certain Miss Biscuit, also known as Unholy Biscuit.
Hi!
That's all.
Say hello to the people, y'all.
Hello.
Nins, we need those iconic words from you, by the way.
Hello.
There it is.
There we go.
So thank you all for being here. Tonight is a little bit different of a stream. We are going to be, this stream is going to be one for the ladies, and in particular, these two that we have here on stream, Madam Claire and Madam Biscuit. My role for tonight is going to be to do a whole lot of shut up and let them talk after asking questions. So if you were hoping to hear my silky smooth voice for the majority of the evening, you are going to be very much disappointed. However, these two are pretty cool, and we'll probably have a lot to say about the different things that we are going to talk about when we get into it. But the first question of the day will be, where did the music go? Just because we know that you come here for the chill tunes. So we're going to hit you up with that while Claire's making funny faces. All right. So thank you one and all for being here, everyone in chat. Also, thank you, Biscuit, for those 7 bits. I see that in chat over there. Now, with that in mind, let's talk about this week in gaming. Just a brief bit. Thank you so much, Mr. Dripster. Thank you very much for that. It's been awesome 2 months. Hopefully, I have made that worth it for you. Hopefully, I will continue to. But for the T emotes, yes. I'm so glad I put that up there. Let's talk about gaming this week. So, a couple of interesting things have happened in gaming. This thing just spazzed out on me. It was trying to read a CD that I did not need it to read. Go figure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about gaming this week. And tell me about what you have seen that has interested you.
Sorry, repeat that again.
I said, tell me about gaming this week and if you have seen anything in particular that has interested you.
So Shadow of War just released recently. Everybody's jumping on the Shadow of War train. Well, anybody anyway.
Oh, do you mean on, did it come out for PC? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen that for console for a little bit now.
I have no idea whether it's come out on PC or not. All I know is that it has appeared on streams, in my Discord, and basically I cannot swing a cat in a bag if I wanted to without hitting something about Middle-earth Shadow of War.
I'm just going to say this right now. If you happen to be from PETA as a representative on our stream today, we are not taking cats, putting them in bags, and swinging them around anywhere.
As Biscuit is our fellow advocate, I would be remiss as to actually do so.
I've heard that Gigantic came out with a new character that seems to be a combination between Thresh and Karthus. So Nins, I believe, is our resident Gigantic
I
player.
have as
I'd
yet
like your thought
to
about
play
that.
this new character.
Have you
I have,
seen the
as
previews
yet
for
to play
that?
him. No. I have gone dark on Gigantic recently. And I'm just simply waiting for some sort of resurgence in its fan base. Because yes, it is a great game, but it is not necessarily popular. However, gameplay-wise, this new character looks very interesting. And I look forward to testing it over the coming days.
Biscuit, Claire.
This game this week. I mean,
Has anything in this particular week caught your fancy gaming-wise?
so the Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, but I've been seeing it everywhere. And I used to want to be an Egyptologist when I was young, so I'm a little scared to play it because if it's a little off, it's gonna trigger me. But I really want to play it because it's about Egypt and it's Assassin's Creed. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know if anyone's heard anything good or bad about it.
I mean, unfortunately, the Assassin's Creed franchise is somewhat infamous due to its varying levels of quality gameplay. But I would have to say that the Assassin's Creed games maintain a good average between each edition of the game. And I am, somewhat excited to hopefully find an end to the franchise.
I thought, from my understanding, this was the before the
Oh yeah, it's definitely a prequel, but
Okay.
Assassin's Creed has always run two dichotomous storylines in their games. One being in the past and the other being in the future, both of which often converging to come to a single conclusion. But I hope that we can actually just end Assassin's Creed.
I think it does. I mean, from what I've seen, I've only played like a little bit of Assassin's Creed, and I don't even know which one it was. I've seen a little bit of Black Flag gameplay, but I've also heard a lot of bad things about Black Flag.
Oh, Black Flag was great if you enjoyed sailing ships and sea shanties, and basically being a pirate.
Okay.
People were saying it is the game that Assassin's Creed 3 should have been. But you know what? I should just say that we should avoid discussing Assassin's Creed 3 because it will take us a very long time.
Makes sense.
But I mean, was it a game that you're excited about? Are you looking forward to playing it, or are you playing it right now?
The newest Assassin's Creed Origins?
Well,
no.
Biscuit specifically, because she mentioned that one.
I really do want to play it. I really want to. I'm just hoping that, because, like I said, I super thought about going to college to do Egyptology and become an archaeologist and all that fun stuff for Egypt, because I taught myself at a very young age to read hieroglyphs and all that stuff. So it's just something that I'm super in love with, so I don't know if I can play it for my love of Egypt and then see that everything's wrong and it just triggers me in such a way, or if I really want to play it because the parkour looks really cool.
Okay, listen, if you play it, from one I can understand, if you're playing Assassin's Creed, you're playing at least for two things. One, the parkour, and two, the ability to whistle and have arrows rain from the sky.
Basically.
I've never played Assassin's Creed before, but this one just piques my interest because Egypt.
Is this the story of Altair?
No, it is a story of the very first assassin, whose name I do not know. But supposedly it does take place during the reign of what's her name?
Sheba?
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra.
Okay. So,
as the Romans begin to invade Egypt.
I believe there's a quesadilla who just popped in to chat. Hey there, Case. So when does that come out, Biscuit?
October 27th. Not that I have it memorized or anything.
No, not at all. Okay, so we know that what we're getting you is a gift from Steam. We have that on our list there. That's happening. Okay, cool. I think for me this week, the most interesting thing in gaming has actually been related to Pokemon Sun and Moon. They had a special where you can go and collect a Marshadow this week.
Oh, yeah.
So my brother went and got that for me.
So I waddled myself right on over to GameStop with a friend, got some Chinese food, and got a Marshadow. And it came with the, like, special crystal for Marshadow too, so you get to be so extra with it. I think I might let Claire borrow it so she can hold the greatness in her hands for a moment or two and then give it back immediately. They're giving out a shiny legendary next month, so I'm looking forward to that one too.
Ooh.
Someone like put together some money and get Claire a DS. Claire, what games have you seen this week that have been interesting for you?
Alright, so games this week, we've already talked about Assassin's Creed, and we've already talked about War, but this came out around the time Shadow War is the new South Park.
Oh,
I've seen that.
the butthole game.
Yeah.
I've only seen
Fractured Butthole.
But
Guys, let's not.
That's literally its name.
I know, it had a comma and everything, but just...
The combat at least looks better in this game, and that's all I'm saying there.
I have to say, I think the most anticipated release of October for me was Battle Chasers, which is a video game that is based on characters from a very old comic series. I remember the comic series from my early teens, and I'm quite happy to see the franchise rebooted in this video game. And when the time comes, I shall buy it and disappear.
Okay. So, I have a series of questions here for all of you lovely people. Mostly for Claire and for Biscuit. As always, your gentle input is welcome from you as well, Mr. Bento. But here is question number one of a series of very special questions that I have for today. Let's talk about representation of women in video games. Do we think it is positive and accurate? I will leave that open discussion to Claire and Biscuit after dedicating this particular song on our playlist to one Miss Strawberry Ames.
No. Okay, well, it really depends on what game, like, for me anyways.
Well,
like
just
Katarina body type? Like, that ain't ever gonna happen to anybody. I don't care how hard they try. Or Ari? No, Ari's pretty no, Ari's not pretty attainable. You can't have big boobs and small thighs like that, let's just be honest.
Ilaoi.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I feel
like if you get like a selfie stick, right? I'm pretty sure you could pull that off.
The right angles. As we say.
Hashtag Snapchat. Hashtag Maury. Hashtag Angle.
I would agree that really does depend on the game. Like one of my favorite games for
for doing these really good representations of women accurate is Oblivion and Skyrim.
They're just normal
Character models, normal personalities, and normal jobs. Like
that is about the best you can get in video games right now.
Well, see, I really like I'm a huge Overwatch player. If you don't know that, there's something wrong. And I really like the fact that I could, if I wanted to, I could totally go cosplay as Mei. Like, I don't have to feel self-conscious about anything because she is as big as me and looks as good as me. So, like, I feel like I could do Mei really well, and I really like that, you know, Zarya is not that attainable, but it is attainable if you work a lot. I've seen some girls as good as she is, and that's something I really like about the Overwatch community on that aspect. When they made Tracer and all them in the community were kind of complained, they were like, okay, let me put Zarya and Mei up in here so we don't have to feel like, you know, there's a body standard that we have to meet. I love to cosplay, and I'm a pretty big girl, so it's really hard for me to want to go, oh, let's go cosplay Mercy, but there's no way I'm ever going to obtain that body type. And there's, you know, even though most of the time at conventions there's people who understand and don't really care what your body type is, they just love the fact that you work so hard on the cosplay. For me, with having such bad anxiety, it's hard for me to go, nope, I can't pull this off. I'm not nearly skinny enough. It doesn't look good on me. I can't wear this skin-tight suit. No, thank you. So that's my 2 cents on that one. But Mei, I could be like, yes, slay.
Of course, the representation of women in video games is endemic to the entertainment industry and, of course, society at large. But I think as the video game community moves more and more towards quality of story, we will start to see better and better representation of women in video games. There will always be over-sexualized female characters in video games. I don't think that will grow out of that any particular time soon. But I think it's a very tricky thing to say. I think we have progress. And that's not to say that we shouldn't already be at the stage where women are portrayed just as, you know, just the same as male characters are. But I think all we can really hope for in this particular day and age, especially for video games, as it is a male-dominated industry, like most, is that we have progress. I mean, Fallout 4 portrays female characters in almost every way that they portray male characters. And I think that's a thing that Bethesda's done really well across the board, is you know, men and women are just as capable as each other to be powerful wizards, warriors, or, you know, on the negative bent, bandits, necromancers, And you see that throughout all of their video games. And it'll be great to see more progress, because more progress leads to better stories in the long run.
Yeah.
And that's my piece on the matter.
Claire and Biscuit, if you have anything in particular you want to add, please feel free to. This chat is lit though, and I could not be happier about this.
I mean, it's like Nin says, it is progressing. I remember growing up with Kingdom Hearts and loved that game, and I remember growing up wanting to look exactly like Kairi. And then, you know, when I saw Naminé, I was like, oh my god, I want to be like that. I want to be that pretty. And then growing up and only, you know, getting bigger in certain ways, it was always like, well, shit.
Well, oh, okay. So a question just occurs to me in the middle of you saying that, and it's a complex question, right? When you look at a character, a female character in a game, do you see, like, you know, obviously you have like people like Ari that we named, you know, like, or like Katarina, long hair, or like slender bodies, or they have like cat ears and a tail and they just look adorable. But do you see, and I guess this kind of leads into the next question, do you find other parts of yourself in the current, you know, band of female characters that exist for video games? Like, you know, beyond their, you know, what they look like, do you see yourself in their characters and you go, I like this part of their character?
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, like I said, a lot of me is gonna be referenced to Kingdom Hearts, because that was the game I grew up with. It's the game me and my dad played all the time. That and Dead or Alive, but Dead or Alive did not have much of an impact on my childhood. I
mean, Dead or Alive in these beach ball games, am I right?
Right. But I always wanted to. I loved Kairi's personality. Just that how fact she wasn't necessarily super like physically strong, but mentally she was normally like, it's okay, we can be apart and I'll remember you and we're still gonna be the best of friends and I'm always gonna be here for you, even though Sora had to leave, you know. And she did forget about him, but something was always there telling him, and that part of me was always, that's where one of my strongest personality traits is me always wanting to be there for my friends and making sure I don't close ties to my friends, is because I want to be there for them. Just like Kairi was always like, I feel like I'm missing something. Let me put this note in. Maybe someone will find it. Who am I forgetting? You know, I've always wanted to be there for my friends, but specifically only because I grew up with how Kingdom Hearts was always friendship and anime. That's my 2 cents on that one.
I would have to agree. There are definitely characters that you tend to associate with. I know that personally, very recent examples, and I personally like the Legends. No, it's just starting to kind of go through the lore, and Ribbon's lore kind of set me away on that as well.
That's rough,
but I understand how strong you have to be to get through something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely very common to very common
to associate with characters.
I've even associated with
characters that don't have a gender, like playing stuff like Halo and Call of Duty. Like that stuff is more about skill
than anything else.
So a couple of things. One thing, hello there, alien. Welcome. Also, as a small point here, and as a side, because it's in chat, and I think it's interesting to bring this up. They were asking a question. There's a discussion here about women being in games. And in that representation of them, they were talking about in Rainbow Six, where there was a strong bent toward the female characters being stronger than men most of the time in a special ops game. Now, I guess in that case, hold on for one moment, responding to Alien here. Well, I guess I'll just respond in voice. So, Alien, I see what you were going for in the way that works. The patriarchy as a system versus women as people, though? But I see why you would do that. It's just kind of a... So, you know, I will tell you that systems should be dismantled all the time, depending on what kind of system is, and whether that has a positive or negative impact on people. So there's that. That being said, people as a whole, you know, I guess if we want to say that, if you're up for consensual smashing, women and men should both be smashed. I will leave it at that. About character.
Like, yeah, there just shouldn't be any favoritism based on gender in that particular case. Like, if you're gonna ask Becky to let you smash, you should at least smash anyone who's smashable, regardless of their gender.
But also about games like what Dick was talking about in Rainbow Six, he makes a fair point. In that when you're making a game or any other type of media representation of a woman, I think that, you know, those things should be fleshed out as close to real life as possible. Which is to say, I don't think that women should necessarily be portrayed as, you know, infinitely weak characters who are constantly in need of saving, but nor should they have to be these ridiculously rugged, over-the-top characters who are basically males with long hair and female anatomy. Like, we don't have to do either of those things. There are so many versions of strength and vulnerability and so many other things that make up who a person is without you having to make people be extra one way or another.
I mean, you can't look
Charlie.
at Rainbow Siege, Special Ops 6, I think it's called. Regardless, you can't look at Rainbow Six Siege and its characters in a general sense. All of these characters are hyper exaggerated in almost every way. And mechanically, yes, the women have better averages than the male characters in this game. And perhaps that was due to, perhaps that was a purposeful technique implemented by the dev company. Or perhaps they had to scrape the bottom of the barrel with the male characters.
I mean, do we... I mean, maybe, but I don't know. If they're special ops, I'm pretty sure they're both sides are pretty evenly trained for that sort of thing. You know, talents being what they are, or proclivities being what they are for being long range versus melee and all of that. But back to main topic here, for Claire and Biscuit especially, when you see, do you see yourself in the, like, have you ever found a game in which you see yourself in a character who is a female character, just for the sake of the conversation we're having here? Do you see yourself in their character, in their perspectives, in their experiences? For example, have either of you been Flemeth?
I have hella been Flemeth, by the way.
Elaine's not good with big words.
Flemeth is a character from Dragon Age.
Okay, I was like, I don't know if that's a fancy word or if that's some.
No, that's an actual. That's an actual person.
Okay. I'm sitting here like
as I can be, but that's usually when I'm DMing a D&D
Okay. Well, I mean, if you have, let me know. I was thinking, I actually had one. I had one game, Final Fantasy IX. Beatrix is one of those characters who was a little bit over the top, but like the strength of her character, it was like one of those, if I were a girl, I would want to be Beatrix. I don't know if either of you have played Final Fantasy IX or know who I'm talking about, so I have to break out a YouTube clip for that a little bit later, but she, like, you just see her with this one scene, she comes through with like one sword swipe and like wrecks everyone on screen type of character. She's great. And then you see her later in the game and you realize like she has like a character and a history and a bit of a soft side too. And you're just like, well, look at you just being all human and falling in love and stuff like that. Like, they didn't make her one of those characters who's like, I'm so badass I don't fall in love with people. And at the same time, she was just like, you don't like walk up on her and like fuck around. She'll like lay down the law. And I like that about her. Also, hello, Charlie.
Charlie decided he wanted to join into the stream and is laying on my chest.
Alien is making some... Well, okay, so there is a point that Alien is making here, which is a pretty good one. So I'm just going to like read that verbatim, and then I guess I'll let you guys respond to it. What we have here is... Dripster, that's basically what she is. There is an argument about if the images perpetuate something, which you then have to kind of agree generally exist, where some people are denying that certain things in general exist or only exist as a stereotype. Neither of which are necessarily true. Some stereotypes are intentionally generated or not, and some of them exist just because they collide with something that's true. There is a song from Avenue Q about that very point, and it's hilarious. The song is oddly enough, called "Everyone's a Little Bit Racist." Now, with that being a topic, right? They're just like, there are some things that we say about some people or some groups of people just because they seem to be true most of the time, even though we'd prefer for them not to be. For my part, for example, if you were to say things that were stereotypical about black people and fried chicken, let me tell you about me and fried chicken. I have a deep spiritual connection with that stuff. Like, if there's a plate in front of me, like, we're not talking until the plate is devoid of fried chicken, because that's just me, right? And there's that intersection there. Does that necessarily mean it's not a stereotype? Well, I mean, it is, but does that make it untrue because it is a stereotype? Not really. It's just one of those, hey, this is something that we keep seeing happening, so I guess that's just going to have to be how that works. Now, the idea here isn't necessarily, or the discussion for today, as far as female representation goes. And by the way, Claire and Biscuit, if you hear us saying things as men that you would like to call out, please point this out, because that's what we have you here for, right? But not necessarily that people aren't different, or that certain types of things that we observe about people aren't true in terms of how they are and how they behave, but rather that there is a certain skew in presenting both men and women, but more so women than men, in the breadth of what they are or are capable of from a either physical or emotional standpoint. And there has to be a point at which we address this enough that it ceases to be a thing. For example, you want to know what I would love to see in media? People not having to look at a female character and wonder if this is a properly written female character or a strong female character. Like, it should just be so normal for women to just be women in all of their different parts of their spectrum that you don't have to ask about it. The same way that we don't ask about whether or not a man is masculine because he's crying on screen.
Can't see it, but I am nodding.
Okay, she's giving you a firm nod over the internet, but that's the kind of, at least, thought processes that I want to get people thinking about. Is when we see people on screen, are there things that we could be doing better in terms of our storytelling that take us a little bit out of the safe spaces that we normally play in, with things like, hey, there is this person who needs to be rescued from somewhere. There is a princess from this kingdom. Like, Zelda's a perfect example of someone who just goes, you have that trope right there, but then you just decide to go rescue your kingdom anyway because you're kind of a baller.
Yeah.
Did I see I see penguin hearts and cheese in my chat. I'm happy right now. I mean, it's not fried chicken, but it will pass. I'm here for this. Okay, back to Claire and Biscuit, and also Nins, who is here. For the current gaming scene, as ladies that you are there things that you find especially concerning one way or another? And by the way, no is a perfectly acceptable answer. You could be completely fine with the areas of gaming that you're in right now. But I would like to ask.
Are we talking about video game characters, or us in general?
Just video games in general, especially because I know that Biscuit, you play Overwatch, and that's kind of competitive.
Yeah, there's a reason why my
I don't know.
You've all heard the fun story of how I changed my username to Unholy Biscuit.
No, I have not heard this story.
Yeah, you should have. Well, okay, rank game. Time for a fun story. Claire, I'm sorry, it's the third time you've heard the story.
Well, that's okay, because Claire is getting online to order chicken wings right now, or is that me? Okay. I don't know.
So I was in a game. My old character name used to be Sarai Hart, off of a book character that I made when I was in middle school.
And it still is on Steam, by the way, if I remember correctly.
It's Chirano Hart. I've never had a problem with well, okay, that's incorrect, because I've also had a problem there, but that's besides the point. It's a different story.
Isn't that a character from the Scarlet Pumpernickel?
Chirano is from Toho.
Okay.
So my username on League used to be Sarai Hart. Going into a competitive game of League, we're ranking, get ready to hit gold, and so I have this gentleman playing Yi as a jungler, and I'm support Leona, because this is back in the days when I used to play Leona. And this guy goes, "Are you a girl?" And of course I don't answer, because I don't give a fuck. I'm just here to play the game, man. I want to get good, And he keeps spamming and spamming and spamming. So eventually I go, "No, I'm not a girl, okay? It's a buff of a book character. Just leave me alone." He went, "Okay." He gets in the game. He goes, "Phew, that was close. I was about to leave because you thought you were a girl." So my ass ends up carrying as Leona. He's the worst Yi. I don't know how you play Yi as bad as he is. And I'm not even exaggerating. He was 0-8-2.
Okay, let's talk about this for a second. If you're not Claire, you're bad at Yi. End of story.
But, so this guy all this stuff, and at the end of it, I go, dude, why the hell does it matter whether I'm female or male? Like, I am a female, and I just carried your ass out of this game. So if you could kindly not harass people about their gender and just let people play games like, we all do, that'd be great. Then this guy tried to add me afterwards.
You should have said, like, see, if Demi Lovato had made that song, like, back then, you could have sent him that YouTube clip and been like, boy, get out of here.
But I just, after that, I went, okay, brother, I need a new name. I'm tired of constantly being asked if I'm a girl, and so
Wait, do you mean that happened more than once?
Oh, yeah. Oh, constantly, because of that username. I had people leave ranked games because I was female. Or they assume so, because most of the time I didn't say anything. Yeah.
Like, you don't see the confusion written on my face. Like, how is that a thing? Like,
yeah.
a male,
like, you know something?
dominant.
I'm just gonna walk right out of that conversation because I can't talk about that without my head starting to hurt.
And then there was another game of Left 4 Dead that I played. I was playing, and I never get on the mic unless there's something important to say. It was versus, so people were special infected, and then we were the survivors. Does anyone remember that game mode? No. Okay.
I do.
Hey. So we were playing this game, and this is when I was still kind of new to online PC gaming, because I used to be a console gamer. And so my brother was teaching me how to play Left 4 Dead 2 on Versus, so I got on the mic and go, hey, there's a smoker over there. And my team just flips at shit. Like, oh my god, are you a girl? Oh my god. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? My poor brother's like, oh god, Elaine, why did you do that? I'm like, I didn't think it would be a big deal. And so later on, we're playing the game, and one of the guys on our teams decided to say in all chat, oh my god, there's a girl on our team. And everyone's flipping out, wanting to get my phone number and all this stuff. I've never had it bad since then. This is the worst I've ever had it. Where they're just freaking out. And then they started, because I wasn't giving them or adding them on Steam and wasn't doing all this stuff, they decided to target me. So that way I would die first. But that ended up happening because obviously I was okay at the game and my brother was protecting me because we were on the same team. Well, afterwards, we're getting ready to go into another game, and I didn't know what I was saying yes to, because I was still new to the game, but apparently what I was saying yes to was open mic for the entire game, so even the enemies could hear us, and so me and my brother just ended up leaving, and I went, oh god, why? Why? So those are my fun stories. So that's why I've changed my usernames on most things. I don't have a lot of issues on Steam anymore, but that's because I don't play Steam that much anymore. I've only had the problem in Overwatch once. But it wasn't anything big. It was just, oh my god, you're a girl. And then immediately tried to add me.
It's something I don't...
There's my two stories of that.
I'm just gonna walk out that conversation because there's just so much there's so much I just don't understand.
You're on mute.
There's just so much I don't understand about why. Claire, do you have to deal with things like that too?
I have to admit, I have dealt with similar situations, but nothing so extreme. I think some of my worst situations have been in League of Legends. But even then, I'm lucky enough to have started off with a username that was very gender neutral. And I've kind of kept it since then, and it just works for me. I don't say things during games. I don't get on mics. I don't go to Discord. Fucking shit.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing that I just don't get. Women shouldn't have to feel. Anyone shouldn't have to feel that they can't get on mic or communicate with their team because they're the gender or whatever they are. Like, it should just be like, hey team, this is happening, this guy's gonna kill me. Like, I'm a healer main, so if someone's trying to kill me, I need to get on mic and be like, hey, someone protect me please, help, and not have to worry about, oh god, people are, gonna harass me because of what I am, or they're gonna leave the game.
Oh my god. Sorry, this chat.
Yeah, I see it.
But yeah, I see. Like, and here's the ridiculous thing. Like, that's never a thing. That's never a thing. Like, I will never. Like, it's so bothersome to even hear you have to explain this, because those are things I don't have to consider them.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, like, if I were playing with you and I found out that you were a girl, it wouldn't, like, be a thing that it would process for me in particular to think about. But I also have to understand that in a lot of situations involving myself and gaming for one and females for another, I'm kind of, like, on the outer edge of things. Like, this is somehow normal. How did that happen?
Yeah. Well, when I did those surveys for my podcast about females in gaming, one of the anonymous people gave a really good thing of why do you think people freak out when they see a girl gamer? Well, a lot of people on gaming don't. Real hardcore gamers who, like, the typical stereotype of gamers never leave their rooms, whatever. A lot of people like myself, like, I have really bad social anxiety, so it's a lot easier for me to go on a video game and just talk it out than it is for me to talk to somebody in person. Well, a lot of the people can have that similar issue, and when they hear a female and they can't interact with females in real life, but they can easily talk over the mic where a female can't see them, they've just flipped, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna have to...
Well, I'm glad you came by to say hi, Mr. Litany. How's it going? See here, you finally caught me on a stream at this time of the day. Like, it's miraculous even. So I guess, like, that's the thing. I guess I can't imagine what it would be like to be a female or to be a woman in the competitive gaming world, especially, and have, like, an anxiety issue, because these games would like rain Splatoon. I'm, like, trying to imagine what your life is like.
I mean, most of the time, because I avoid being on mic, or because I avoid having feminine usernames, I don't have to worry about it. And I've learned a lot in Overwatch and in League of Legends on how to avoid using mic, but still communicate with my teams to the point. Like, League of Legends, there's no open mic. Oh god, that's a thing that might be happening soon. I don't want to even think about it. But anyways, I found a lot of ways to communicate without having to use mic. It sucks that I have to do that, and I shouldn't have to do that. No one should have to do that. But at least I found a way where I can still be a competitive player. I can still get to the levels I want to without having to worry now. Like Overwatch, I got plat this season.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Miss Ma'am.
Yeah, so it's just nice to... Like, Overwatch is really good with trying to find a way, or having a way where you don't have to have a mic to necessarily communicate with your team. Like, I could just press C and say I need healing, or help, or scream. Or sometimes I'll just say my genitalias have not dropped yet, so I sound 12.
Well, I mean, you could probably get away with that. You sound like...
I've had people believe that.
You sound like Beto then, though.
But it was hilarious. I've actually had someone falling for that once when I got on mic, and they're like, "Oh my god, there you go." I was like, "No, I'm only like 12. Don't worry about it."
Oh,
I get this a lot.
Wow. See, Lord have mercy. That is the most. That is the absolute most, and you should not have to. Oh my god. Okay. Like, every now and then I remember I am a citizen of Earth, and sometimes people are terrible. Oh, okay. I'm gonna be fine though. Oh, Matt, you missed so much. You're gonna have to catch that video on demand after the stream, fam, because it got rough. So with that, that whole thing happening, I guess the question is not necessarily, and, like, hear what I'm trying to say. I don't necessarily want to make the gaming world better for women specifically, although I do. What I want is for the gaming world to just be good for everyone. I just want it to not be terrible. Like, I just want the gaming world to not be bad, right? So where we're dealing with you as women in this world, And if you are a gentleman, which most of the gentlemen in the community are of the highest quality, so I have no serious qualms about that here. But, like, what are some things that it would help you? It would help, like, make things easier for you in the world of gaming. Period. If guys would do or not do.
Listen, I guess the main thing for me would just be.
Okay, hold on for a moment. Dick done said something that gets about 5 snaps in this chat right here.
Oh.
Yes. We need to import him. But continue, please.
No, it's okay. I just something like if you hear if a female gets brave enough. So first off, it sucks that I have to say that they get brave enough. But if a female gets brave enough to get on mic and you hear someone harassing her, step up. Don't be a bystander. Don't be that guy. Be like, oh, yo, she's a girl. Get over it.
I have to jump in just for a second.
You're good. Go ahead.
You say that, if you hear a female being, well, I should extend that to anyone being accosted, right? But in this particular case of females being accosted, I have to add that the dynamic in that room, that chat room, that voice chat, changes. Because unless you know that female personally, every other male in that room becomes a villain. And that isn't to say to just pick up your balls and stand up for someone who's being accosted, but you are also viewed as this woman being accosted as another possible harasser. And that, like, there is that one small reason that we need some sort of equality or maturity in any community, because not only do you make people feel unsafe, but you vilify others by your own action. Exactly. They could have had nothing to do with you whatsoever, but in that chat, if you were to speak up for that woman, you face the possibility of that woman saying, "I don't need your help, back off," or you face her, her friends saying, who the fuck do you think you are? Back off.
Right.
We've got this.
Drifter, you are going in right now. I'm here for this. Although Alien. So,
I mean, like that's the nature of people. We're paradoxical. You just look at the statement mostly attributed to Mark Twain. All generalizations are false, including this one. That is a logical paradox. It's a feature of how we discuss things with each other. It's not like the conclusions we come to should be less important than the fact that we're discussing these things in order to balance between what is good and what is bad, because an imbalance can become just as dangerous.
I think on first thing, I think you guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
Hold on. Okay. Just had to. Sorry. I just read something and that was hilarious. But Alien in chat is making a pretty he's getting I'm getting anime realness from Alien right now. But basically, they're making the point that they're making here is the idea that when we're dealing with speaking up or speaking out to even the playing field for things where women are involved, we should also allow plenty of room for the fact that she might just be able to shut someone down on her own without us necessarily having to jump in and say anything, right? There are plenty of moments where I've had an argument with someone I was in a relationship with over this, and it got pretty heated because someone said something that I felt was disrespectful to her, and she specifically asked me, something just stay out of it, right? And at that point, right, it's either I go by this somewhat misguided sense of me trying to be the hero and stand up for her because people are being disrespectful, or I feel that people are being disrespectful to her, or I can honor her wishes and believe in her agency and her ability to just handle her things by herself without needing my help. And there is a paradox right there. At what point do I jump in because someone is saying something to you that I don't like and go, do I need to say something here, and you just going, no, I got it, versus me basically putting on the superhero cape and jumping into the fray every time.
Well, see, something I learned from you, actually, Sean, is it's something I don't think you think I would ever taken it to heart. But, when you told me it's better to ask forgiveness than it is. It's better to... Well, how did you say it?
Better to ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes.
Thank you. And that's something, I'm taking this to real life for a second. I was horribly bullied as a kid. I know it sucked. And there was a point where they tried to literally set me on fire. And no one would help me because the fact that, one, the person had basically a flamethrower, and two, because quote unquote, I can defend myself even though I was a little middle schooler trying to run for my life.
Okay, well, to be, something, me and you have that same experience, and I don't know what that is. Someone actually lit a match on their zipper and threw it at me.
Yeah, I had someone take a lighter and an Axe spray can to make a flamethrower.
Oh, they did not like
burn marks. I still have burn marks on my back. But it's just to the point of, that famous quote of yours, that and me personally, I think it's better to at least step in, and then if they say step off, then you step off. But for me, if someone steps in, I'm very submissive, and the moment someone says bad shit about me, I'm just like, okay, sure, I'll just go the other way. Okay, thanks. I'd rather you come in, and then if I wouldn't, I would just be like, hey, buzz off, I got this. That's just me, though.
I have to agree with Alien to a degree. And in my opinion, it comes down to being nice to everyone or being shitty to everyone. Acting without. Right, equal opportunity smashing, acting without bias. Or at least trying to.
Right.
We are human, we are fallible, but we also have the ability to choose to try. And I think that's a lesson to carry through any community you're a part of. Don't be a dick just because they're women. Be a dick because they're also a dick. You hear me, Dickomedes?
Yeah, he does. We're this between everybody in here is just contributing to keeping this chat lit, and I appreciate that so much.
Godwin's Law invoked. Wow.
Do you do you guys and girls I do that too, by the way, and just so you know, I'm not apologizing for that ever. If I say hey guys and there's a group of girls that are involved in that, you're gonna be fine, all of you. Do you feel like most of this discussion has been around, hey there Wolfie, how's it going? Has been around if we're going to do these things that make the community of gaming a better place to be for women, we're going to have to think of things that make the gaming community better for everybody. There are just certain types of behavior, whatever we're calling out here, that shouldn't be happening, period, to anyone. And we need to talk about those things. Also, whatever we're going to do with these things in terms of trying to, make a more equal and fun playing space for everyone, we're going to also have to keep in mind that the end goal isn't necessarily to make this, special and unique place for, people of one gender or another to be happy in, but for something for everybody to enjoy as a whole, to be, better gamers and hopefully kinder gamers. I would appreciate you being nice. But, you take what you can get, right? Because Dota 2 is a thing that exists in 2017. So you have that happening. Hello there, the Welconator. I'm glad that you are here. So we have that, and also you don't just walk into a system trying to dismantle it, trying to make things better for everyone without understanding what things are, whether or not they're true, whether or not they work, where we've been involving those things and why things are that way. Like, you can't just make blanket statements and go, this is how everything should be treated all the time. It's not kind of how that works. And so, as Mr. or Mrs., depending, I'm not sure, Alien Chaser has encouraged us over here to be, in our considerations, it is best to be thoughtful in whatever approach we decide to take in trying to improve our gaming experiences and our gaming communities and making those things just better. Which I hope to be a part of by streaming, by hanging out with you guys and actually playing games and shutting down nonsense where I see it, because, my first nickname on Discord was Mr. Savage, and it continues to be that for that reason. Ladies and gentlemen of the panel, is there anything else that you want to add? Also, I want to thank all of you lovely people in chat who have given us so much feedback, the commentary, the continued things to think about and perspective to share. Here for all of it.
I'm as a last comment,
let's be honest about that.
As a last comment on butt preferences, I prefer any butt with a little bounce.
Hey. All the butt. Charlie?
And that is my final statement for the night.
So basically, we're about to play an Iggy Azalea song right now.
Charlie, you are all up in this computer. Get off, dog.
Well, I mean, if the stream is good, the stream is good. He wants to get in on it. I'm not mad at him.
Char, come here. Charlie, get your butt over here. You were just here 2 seconds. Oh, Grandma's home. Get him. Can Mama Biscuit say hi?
Just for you, Nins.
Thank you.
Mr. Sean, can Mama Biscuit say hi? Hello. Okay, she didn't even ask the opinion. Thanks, Mom.
Alien, very much correct. I think it ultimately comes down to just being aware of things. It's so easy to see a problem and go, this is exactly what'll fix it. I had an hour-long meeting and some change yesterday where we had a departmental meeting and everybody pointed out one specific thing and said this was the thing that we need to solve all of these problems. And I'm like, no, there's history here. There are a whole bunch of moving parts. There are different people and perspectives involved. You can't just say that this one thing is going to fix everything. But that being said, I am going to say this. please be nicer to your female gamers, because that doesn't solve everything, but it certainly is a place to start. And also, hey, just be nicer as a gamer in general, and I think either everyone will stop playing with you because you're nice and then you'll have all the nice people together in one place, or everybody will just become nicer.
And then we'll have to worry about who's too polite.
No, like here. No, you take support. No, you. No, you, by all means. Do you want the mid lane?
I mean, I would hate to
lane,
take your minion. Please. You just farm away. I mean, I couldn't do that to you and your team.
You know something? I was going to take that minion, but like as a tax, but then I'm like, don't you need that creep score? I think you were a little bit behind by like a couple of points. I'm gonna let you have that, so that you can have that. I can go farm in the jungle. It's perfectly fine.
Hey, Sean, if you ever said that, I would think you being shady.
Okay, so Alien only likes those booties from outer space. He likes that galactic ass.
He likes that cosmic booty.
I hope y'all are enjoying this Iggy Azalea as much as I am, because it's so appropriate to the conversation right now.
Has anyone heard League of Legends' new slogan to get people to come play League of Legends?
No.
No, please inform us.
It's you're already a noob. Why not play our new game?
Oh no.
Ah.
Literally their new slogan.
Did you really just say you're a new play League of Legends? Have they played ranked? Do they know how this game works? Have you seen what people do if you don't have a keystone? Hello?
They leave. But not before they ravage your emotions.
Their new slogan is Go Noob.
Okay, so basically they want everyone to be bronze forever, because that's what happened.
Let me just find that real quick.
Oh, that's a sign of the times right there.
What?
You're doing okay over there, right? You getting your microtransaction sales out?
Oop.
You getting them players still?
Well, I mean, Alien, honestly speaking, sometimes you have to take nice in any form that it comes in. Now, that being said, don't be awful, right? But at the same time, hey, if it works, it works. So I guess with that being said, I'm going to leave all of you to go and enjoy the remainder of your Thursday. This has been Thursday Night Streamvening with myself, with Nins, Claire, and Madam Unholy Biscuit. If you happen to want to continue talking to me about this, I will be on Twitter at Zinziek Beta. There is in the chat somewhere. It'll also be on the offline screen. Please find me there. Please talk to me about things, and you can just say this whole chat made me salty or you're awful, and that's perfectly fine. I'll just ignore you with and send you a Beyonce gif. I only have one, so you'll get the same one. And you guys go forth and be wonderful to the world at large, to each other specifically, and I will see you guys back here, but probably significantly later than usual on Saturday, because guess what? I'm going to be dancing on Saturday at 4:30.
Hey.
Which Claire's going to be at home, so she won't be here for, but that's okay. Are you going? It's 9. It's always 9. It's the same place that we. Well, I mean, Alien, here's the thing, right? If you're having discussions like this, you don't... Okay, so first thing, I'm used to having to talk to people about all sorts of controversial and kind of prickly subjects. Racism being mine most of the time. But, you know, there are reasons that people think what they think, and generally speaking, right, people don't necessarily want to be awful, but they don't understand. Or they have a particular perspective and they have a place that they're coming from. And you were completely respectful the entire time. I appreciate that. Dickomedes, you already have that one, but I will send it to you again. Oh, well, okay, so fun fact, right? For Alien. And also, by the way, chat, feel free to comment here because we're going off the rails. This term was the females in games subject, but I am a I'm a religious person. One of the first things that I learned, right? One of the things that I learned when I was in school, I went to a primarily Christian school for college. And one of the things that they taught us there was to be completely open to and understanding of any situation in which someone asks a question about why you believe what you believe or think what you think or feel how you feel about things. Like, that's how you learn about people, and that's how we are supposed to live our lives in the world. We should be open to those kinds of questions and open to those kinds of discussions and willing to hear people out on the things that they have to say. Like, if someone's just being a jerk, you kind of get a feeling for that and you just ignore that stuff or you shut that down. But when someone is respectfully approaching you and just goes, "Hey, I have a thought about what you just said. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think about that?" You owe them that space to listen. And this is why having you here is great. Thank you for not hating me. I appreciate that. Hopefully you hit the follow button so that you will be here next week when all this stuff happens. Dick, the reason why I have the music selection here that I have is because I know that you will enjoy it. Now, that being said, if you decide to follow me, some days I'm going to be playing video games and doing silly shenanigans, but every now and then I like to have these serious talks. I think that's missing from the community of streamers and gamers at large, is they aren't willing to talk, well, generally speaking, not willing to talk about sticky subjects like religion and politics and other social issues. But listen, we wield to, as a person who wields influence of any size, you have to use that to improve the world. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong.
Hallelujah.
Wait, if I officially have alien booty, I'm here for that, by the way. I have pictures in the phone to prove it. That being said, again, thank you so much for being here, for honoring me with all of your presence, for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one of these that I have. Check out for times. Find me on Twitter. Please talk to me. I like talking to you guys almost as much as Claire likes taking pictures. And I will see all of you next on our next stream. Have a good night, everyone. Also, if you like this playlist, let me know and I will send you the list of all the songs on it. I'm looking at you, Dickomedes. Oh, actually, one more thing before I go. Alien, there is an inability that most people have when it comes to belief, from separating themselves and who they are as a person from their belief, and what that does on a mental level, right? When you talk to someone about things that they believe strongly, without them having a very high level of introspection, right? Being able to self-reflect and understand not just that they believe something, but why they believe what they believe. They treat it the same as if they're being attacked in the woods by like a wild animal. It gets that same flight or fight response. And it's not, I don't think that's healthy, right? At all. For you to be so far into a belief and have it tied so strongly to your person that someone can't ask you about it without you immediately freaking out. So I have always tried to be somewhat open to that, right? If I have a position that I have and I feel a certain way, I will make my position clear. But at the same time, I don't like the idea of just dismissing people outright unless they're being hateful. But hopefully we will have more of these discussions. I like them. And yes, always butts. Okay. Charlie says goodnight. I don't think he's going to be saying anything into the microphone specifically, but
I
as for
can
the
make
rest of
him if you want me
can.
to.
I'll let you do that.
Charlie, come here. Charlie, come. Come here. Hurry, Mom, bring me the dog. Quick. Georgie, come here. Charlie, you wanted to be on this podcast this entire time. Get your ass over. Okay. Charlie, speak. 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 You're not gonna do it? Really? Speak. 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 Really? He's over it. Charlie, they were waiting to hear you.
Well, he
He's not having
has an audience here. Like basically
He's like-
everybody came here for Charlie, let's be honest.
Speak. Speak. Good boy.
Aw, yay.
Good boy.
Ninbin's iconic statement, please.
Goodbye.
Good night, guys.